So, intro this episode for us. Some kind.
What's up? We're here with the Hangout. We're doing a lot of interviews, a lot of recaps, award show recaps. We wore tuxedos. We did not wear dresses, thankfully. I mean, you can wear a dress whenever you want. I'm just saying, I haven't personally worn a dress for the show. That's all I'm saying. I'm not as sold on it as you are with the tuxedo the other way. So people just want to know what's going on with us. Chilling episode. What's up? How's your life?
My life is great.
Yeah. Can we break the news? Are we allowed to break the news?
Sure.
You're moving to Vegas?
Is
that news we can talk about publicly? We just did?
Oh, it's that news. Okay, no.
Was there other news? What other news do we have?
Well, I'm not going to say it now. So.
Well, yeah, that's exactly. Secret news, apparently, that I'm unaware of, that I almost spilled without knowing it. And the news that you're moving to Vegas. That's the news I was talking about, which means probably more content.
That's
the exciting part.
When
you're not flying over the mountains every so often to come and hang out with me. You can just drive down the road and be like, hey, we'll do a quick 30-minute plug.
It came to a head when I think I was traveling to Vegas like 3 times in January.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then again in February, and I was like, I don't love this. I don't love doing that. So
talk to the husband and be like, look, we're going to trade one desert for another.
But this one's cheaper. So I will say that.
And more exciting.
If I have to live in a desert, that's a whole other thing.
Yes.
I would rather live in one that the property tax is like a fraction of what I'm paying in California. So
high affordability, more concerts, more sports, less golf, I guess, compared to the Palm Desert, but
bummer.
Not a problem for you, I don't think. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so you're not golfing all the time. Next time we'll welcome you to town. Right now it's soon to be welcome.
I'm pretty excited because my driver's license picture is terrible. So I'm looking forward.
It is actually terrible.
A new.
I saw it once, and it was funny because I was like, "Who is that?" Like, it doesn't even look like you. Like, I'm like, it's like
Everyone
I don't know how many years ago.
Yeah.
Well, you're not blonde in the photo, and you're blonde in real life.
I was blonde in the photo.
Camera didn't capture
I don't know what
that old school
Coachella Valley is doing at their DMV, but it was
yeah.
bad. So I'd like to refresh that.
Nothing like thinking about your license photo. Like, that's such a good reason to move. Why'd you move? I just need a new license photo. They wouldn't issue it to me unless I moved to a new state, so I had to get a new photo.
You do what you got to do.
But you can't bring your own headshot to the DMV. Be like, listen.
Why can't we just do the same system as the passport photos? No, because you can bring in your own photo for passports.
Yeah, but there's rules to it. Oh, I see. So you just say you sit at home with the whiteboard or whatever.
I want my own light. I want like natural light. I don't want whatever's happening over there. When I got my driver's license photo the last time, I was like, hey, can I see it? And he turns it over. And I was like, oh, I don't like that. He goes, this is what you look like.
Like, that's such a DMV answer. Like, of course that's what they said.
There's a line out the door, and I'm asking for, like, redos.
I don't know how old you are at this point. You're just some young girl going, I don't like the picture. The guy's like, would you get the hell out of here?
If anyone's going to ask, it's going to be me.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that tracks. Big things happening.
Big things happening. Can we say what you're doing for work yet, or is that still, like, very I haven't
announced it.
cryptic?
We're doing some startups, so it's not trying to be cryptic. I think there's just, there's a sequence to announcements. So there's a lot of people going, what's next? What are you doing? Haven't had an announcement from you. And I expected, like, people were like, I thought I'd have an announcement by now. It's like,
no LinkedIn.
Not
I'm
a
happy
big,
to share.
yeah, not exactly. No, I think for me, like, it's been interesting the last however long leaning into this entrepreneurial side that I have. Like, I think a lot of us, maybe it's not a lot of us, but there's, I don't know what you want to call it, right? You get to that VP, SVP level, and I feel like so many people wrestle with this idea of, could I go out and do something on my own? Do I just love the corporate life, right? There's security in one, but there's freedom in the other.
People love the corporate life?
I think they love the guarantee.
Security of it?
Yeah, like, I mean, you get that side of it. So I've been wrestling with that, right? Because I think there's definitely some money upside, but I'm going to stay entrepreneurial for a little while. Me and a buddy of mine who I worked with a few different times in my career, we've been verbally funded, and I think by the time this airs, we'll have, like, officially funded, formed company, and going to tackle what we think is an interesting problem in the business, and hopefully can offer some value, some upside, and bring some cool products to market and help some people kind of in the gaming space. So, plus I think there's been some people that I've talked to that are, old is not the right word, right? Like, because they're in their, because they're in their.
That's a great way to go into it.
Yeah, thanks. But here's my point. He's only like 10 years older than me, right? So call it 50. That's not an old person. Like, you're not old at 50. That's what I'm saying. Old's not the right word, but you're more advanced in your career. And he was wrestling with this idea of, he's like, well, is it too late to go out on my own, right? Like, I've always wanted to chase this entrepreneurial thing, but then at some point the concern is, could you go back? Like if you go out and you're 55, and I don't know, I'm picking on a number. I'm not saying 55 is the wrong age, but like, and you chase your own thing and then it doesn't work, or if you sell it, but maybe you sell it for enough to be happy but not to retire, like could you go back and could you, right? And so I think there's a struggle there. I've actually been more motivated by would I regret it if I don't try than what should I do, right, is more my thinking. So
let me know when you need some marketing.
I always need marketing, as you well know. What about you? You're consulting to the stars on all their marketing brand. Not stars anymore, but companies. And
Stars.
Well, that's what I said. Social media.
A lot of NDAs.
Yeah.
A lot of NDAs.
Can't talk about it, but we're doing it. Yeah,
Can't
exactly.
talk about it, but I can allude to it.
Yeah. Has there been a theme lately for the people that engage you and say, hey, Hillary, we need help, and you assess them and you're going, oh, you're all doing the same thing wrong?
The most common thread between all of them is that they're very successful in their business, but they don't quite see the value in what marketing their business B2B can do for them.
Yeah.
Like they're like, what are we doing wrong? We put out, 2 posts a month. Why aren't we growing? But I also think there's a misconception of B2B businesses thinking that they have to be very uptight, and then the only other option is to be very, very relaxed.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go over some corporate jargon that people use, and can you translate it? We've done this with industry buzzwords, so now we're going to do it with like corporate jargon, because you're very corporate.
I know. I'm trying to shake it off.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's a hard habit to break.
That's a tough one. So what does it mean when someone says, let's take this offline?
It means I hate everything about this. Like, especially if that's such a good one, because it's two things. It's so, usually whoever said it either doesn't like the person that's talking, so you're like, I can't stand you.
Yeah.
So we're going to take this offline.
Yeah.
Or they know that whatever's about to be is going to be a 40-minute tangent to the
yeah.
actual point of the meeting. And usually the person that's being told, let's take it offline, is just the least self-aware person in the world. Because you've completely disrupted. Because if it was relevant to the meeting topic, you wouldn't take it offline, you just do it there. Yeah. But it's like you're going to have we're going to have a finance meeting, and somebody goes, well, what about the marketing thing? It's like, where'd you come from? Take that offline. Get out of here, right? So yeah, that's so funny. It means you've annoyed the moderator.
Let's argue about this privately.
Let's not argue in front of the kids.
Yeah. All hands on deck.
Such a good meeting. It just means we are colossally fucked, and we don't want it to be any one person's fault. So we're gonna all do it so that you can't blame any one person. Like, we need all hands on deck here. Holy shit! Because it's like that's how I read that. Because then we can't just blame the ops guy. We can blame the whole team, and everyone still gets to work here.
We need to pretend we're all working on the same thing, and it's going to be entirely inefficient. Yeah. All hands on deck means there's rarely any specialists.
I also feel like
it's just all the generalists come in and just try. We're pivoting.
That's such a great phrase.
We're scrapping everything.
Yeah.
Basically. This
we were wrong.
idea sucks.
Yeah, we were wrong. We can't say we were wrong. So we're just going to pivot. We can't.
Yeah.
We can't go, hey, that investment we made into 6 months of time and energy to get to this point was completely garbage. So instead, we're gonna pivot to the left. We're just gonna go this way. We learned a lot. We're gonna pivot here.
Circle back.
You most likely didn't decide on a thing I needed you to decide on, so I'm gonna let that go for a minute. But then I'm gonna come back to this. No one circles back in a position of power.
Nobody circles back in a good mood either.
Like, it's all bad mood circles.
It's never like, you're never happy to be circling back.
You're
like resentful.
I want this to be over.
You're low-key like irritated.
Yes. Low-hanging fruit. Yeah.
Let's tackle the easy, lazy stuff first.
Stuff should already be done. So let's just go do this, right? Like it's, always love that. It's like, well.
Let's do the most obvious thing. Giving you some time back.
Oh my God. Worst thing. I was so annoying.
And it's like 30 seconds.
It's usually less than 10 minutes.
What am I going to do
so
with this?
It's not always, sometimes, but, I just would cringe because you do this hour call or whatever, and you finish in 52 minutes. Like, well, we'll give you some time back.
Give you some time back.
Or they would enumerate the exact amount of time. We'll give you 7 minutes back, and it's like, what am I supposed to do with this fucking time?
Do you want an award for that?
I guess I'll get up and stretch my legs before the next 60-minute call that ends 7 minutes early. We're just going to end the call. We're just going to be done, and then let them figure out what their timing is.
If you're going to be anyone, be the person who ends the call early, but doesn't ask for
100%.
on it.
Yeah, just go, hey, we're good. See y'all.
Done.
They're going to be done. Yeah, exactly.
Let's align on this.
We clearly don't agree, and we should. We got to get to one team, one dream. Yeah, align is such a word that's coming into. It's a big
The alignment. The
I don't feel
alignment
like-
of the team is like,
I know. I feel like it's only the last couple of years, the post-pandemic phrasing. I feel like that wasn't really, and maybe I just wasn't part of it beforehand. Like, I feel like when I was working with Andrew and, the AGS guys, we were always aligned in spirit. Like, we were always on the same page. There was no problems. We never once said, can we align? I don't think Andrew in his career has ever said to me, let's get aligned on this. Like, what? You'd have
Chronic
meetings.
aligners.
You'd have meetings where we unpacked things. And then you'd go, at the end of it, are we all aligned? We did an all hands. Is everyone aligned? And it's like, yeah, I think
nobody
so.
needs to circle back right now.
Yeah, don't circle back. We're all aligned. There's nothing to circle to because we're aligned, right? So it's like, yeah.
This was low-hanging fruit.
It's we have a plan to pick the low-hanging fruit.
Don't overcomplicate it.
Oh, my.
Can you translate a high-touch client service? Have you ever heard of that?
High touch. Yeah, that's a sales phrase. We're going to be up your ass constantly. That's what that translates into. So we will not leave you alone. You will wish we were less, but then we're going to say, we service you so much, you wish we serviced you less, right? Like, that's what they're trying to go for. Like, that's the extreme version of that. We touched you so much, you wish we touched you less. That's the high touch translation.
Yeah.
It was fun. A little corporate rundown.
Yes. So we just got back from New York
Yeah.
recently for the next conference. That was my first time
You
going.
were like the queen of that show. Like, I feel like I barely saw you. You're running around. You hosted like 4 different things. I was just there listening, taking notes, saw a few cool people, hosted one panel, which just, I'm going to put myself down. But I was like, everywhere I turn, you're on the big screen. How was your experience?
My experience was great.
Yeah.
I had no idea what to expect going into it. I am still semi-new to like the conference life.
That was my first time there, too.
First time. Also my first time in New York. I had never been to New York before, which is crazy because I would consider myself fairly well-traveled and I've never been there before. So I was a little bit nervous about that, but it was fine.
Did you do any fun thing? Like, I feel like had I known that, I would have tried to ringlead you into more New York stuff, but I just, like, I feel like I barely talked to you.
Well, I did see the Statue of Liberty from a very long distance away.
From the roof of a thing. Like, there you go.
It was very far. There was an event that apparently was in Times Square. I had no idea, though. I don't know what entrance I went in, but it did not feel Times Square-ish. But that was a very cool venue. It was a Hard Rock. It was their rooftop. Yeah, I went to, like, Central Park, but all the leaves were dead, so that was kind of sad. And I did play hooky one afternoon, and I went and saw a Broadway show, and I was pretty happy about that.
Was it Wicked?
It was not Wicked.
Oh.
I've already seen that one.
Yeah,
several times.
you're like the biggest fan of Wicked, I know.
Yeah. I also tried a lot of pizza.
Did you have a winner?
Yeah,
like
there
the-
was one. I think it was the first night pizza. But yeah, I think I tried about 5 different slices over a very small course of time. It's pretty iGaming focused.
Yep.
And so they had representatives from FanDuel and NASCAR. You had a NASCAR guy on
That
your...
was amazing. Yeah. Shout out Joe. He's like the nicest guy I've ever
I had a really great panel too.
Yeah.
I had 3 really great
Yeah,
panels. They
yeah.
were all my favorite. We had one panel of all operators, and they were talking about just how they market to kind of break through all of a shitload of content. Is what I
Shitload
said.
is a real measurement.
Yeah.
Anytime you open the conference, we're going to talk about a shitload of stuff.
It was a very good panel on that. Just to have like MGM and FanDuel. We had some newer startups. Marketing to Gen Z. What do you do?
What do you
not do? You do not have very polished content. That looks
feels right.
boring.
Yeah.
They don't like that.
Just be authentic is kind of the vibe, and at least it's what we're going for here.
Yeah. Well, I think COVID changed a lot of that, right? Millennials really liked the very aesthetic Instagram curated feed, and that's how you also received ads. You know, perfect shots, perfect product placement, but in a way that felt still more trusting because it was from like a trusted source, like an influencer. So sales were great. But then COVID happened, and you couldn't really do any of that anymore.
Yeah.
So you couldn't go do this overproduced
Standing
production,
exactly in this perfect
photo
spot.
shoots,
Yeah.
anything like that, and people were turning to TikTok where, you're in your sweatpants, your hair's up, you don't care, and you're just, chatting. So
Yeah.
that is really where I think the very authentic, raw content came from, and that really resonated with people. We're a lot of Gen Z. They grew up through that.
Does that apply to B2B? Because this is kind of who's listening, right? And you're a casino or you're a B2B BI platform or whatever you do. do you just get on and just talk about, like, here's what we're in the middle of? To your point, like, B2B still feels very curated. It's like, oh, we solved it. Check out this game. It's the best game in the industry ever seen. It's on this report and that report. And don't worry, it was all perfect the whole time. Meanwhile, that game developer's like, I had 15 different drawings on one mermaid to make that game good, and here's the 14 mermaids that didn't make it. Like, how much time do you spend on that? Like, do we give a glimpse, or what's the right way to do it now?
Yeah, I think it's hard because a lot of people are still holding on to, like, that perfect image. I don't think people from, like, FanDuel are going to go on and be like, hey, guys, we just went through, like, the ringer putting this together. But I think it'd be very refreshing if they did. Yeah. But I think that's really where, not necessarily, that wouldn't really belong on the company page, but there is, like, the rise of the LinkedIn influencer.
Personal brand.
And the business influencer. So people are using their employees now to represent the brand online, but you also obviously have to be very careful that you're not, like, dogging on your own brand. But I think showing, like, authenticity is just everything. So if it means sharing how something was challenging and how you overcame it, I think that's more interesting than just hearing about the end result of it, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I feel like it would give me a level of comfort. Like, I don't know why I'm thinking about food. Maybe it's because it's almost lunchtime, I'm hungry. But, like, if you said to me, a chef got on and said, you know what, that food you're eating, right, that hamburger, whatever, that you love, that you come here to order, it took me 20 tries to get it right. I would actually feel great about that. Because I'd be like, all right, well, he tried it with this and it didn't like it. Or, she overcooked it once and that wasn't a good move. But then, you know what? She randomly added this and it's great. Like, I feel like, okay, we've come to the end of a reasonable process, and this is the version.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what happens in technology. That's what happens in game design. Like, a lot of people, like, bringing it back to casinos, they don't always see that, you know what, that version of whatever, the new big one, Phoenix Link or Huff and Puff Money Man, like, these games that are topping the charts, right, it wasn't the first version, usually.
Right.
It was 6 versions, 10 versions. I don't know how many reiterate gates that go back, kick it back, try again. I need different art, better math, tweak this. Like, you see that. You don't see it, but you see the end result. And then everybody just touts the end result going, well, look at this.
Yeah.
How great is this? How great is this? I was like, I don't know. I feel better knowing you went through all this other stuff. And I guess how much of that insight could be, I don't know, make it more relatable, make it more.
And that's what I like what we're doing here, because we had Dan from Incredible Technologies on recently, but what he was saying about how they configured that new game by using pieces that they already had, like from this cabinet and from, these games, and they simplified it. And I think that's more interesting than just hearing, oh, here's the new game that we put out that has, like, 4 new games on it. I would rather go seek that out because I already have, like, a background knowledge of how that came to be. Sure. I think it's interesting.
More likely to go play his creation.
Yes, yeah. I am.
Yeah.
I'm not really even a player.
So you talk about this business influencer, this LinkedIn influencer trend or this movement. How do we think about that, right? Because I think I'm actually curious, because I don't know the answer to either, because I was in a unique position, right, when I worked for Light Warner Company, because I had already had a podcast. Like, we had this platform prior to. So I said, hey, guys, like, full disclosure, I mean, obviously, like, a lot of their executives were on the show, so it wasn't like a secret, but I said, just so you know, like, I do this. Like, this is a thing. Yeah. They had to be comfortable with that. They could have said, we don't want you to do it anymore. I would have had to choose which was more important, but they embraced it. A lot of companies, is there an attitude shift? Like, I feel like, because there's definitely a day where I feel like you would have said, hey, you work for us, we don't want you talking online. We don't want you to pop up a video and talk about your game design philosophy. Like, keep it in-house. Like, you're ours, like, there's, like, a lockdown. But to your point, it seems like more and more people's personal brands or personal professional, like, individual professional brands, I should say, are becoming important, right? So all of a sudden you get, I don't even know who you want to pick on, but you get this executive, you get a salesperson, you get somebody that's like, wow, I really like his or her opinion. And then she goes to work for so-and-so. You're like, well, maybe I want to do business with them because I like her.
Right.
Like, how, like, I don't know, what's the balance there? Like, is that happening more? Like, are companies embracing that, or you still see a shift of like, hey, we'd rather you don't do it, or is it just everyone just turns the other cheek? Like,
I mean, in our industry, there are brands who do not like it, and there are brands who are like, yeah, let's do this. And it's the brands who are, I think, they're going to get ahead faster than the ones who are like, no, we're going to let our PR team take this. I mean, I go in and I talk to companies about this specifically.
That's what I'm asking you, yeah.
And I think what's really beneficial is if you have like a sales team, they should all be working on their personal brands. I mean, instead of having access to your ideal clientele a couple times a year at like a convention, you have access to them all year round now. So why wouldn't you be putting in the effort and encouraging your team? Like, you should be reaching out to people on there. You should be also posting yourself and putting yourself out there. But, you know, do it in a way that establishes your company as, like, you know, the leader in whatever industry you're in. And if you're not doing that, I would say, why? That just also shows like company culture too, right? Sure. Like, that says a lot about a company. If they're
very tyrannical inside, if you can't be yourself outside.
Yeah. If you're not willing to, you know, let people share about their expertise.
It's really interesting to me, the comments we get, or I get, and I'm sure you get them as well, like doing this. Where you'll post something online, and a lot of people go, you know, I've always wanted to post stuff. I just don't post it. Yeah. And I laugh because I do the show, but I don't really post a lot. I know you know that. I'm telling you, but like on my own page, right? I'm probably end up doing more of that as we go, but it's like, but people say, oh, I wish I could post. Well, what's stopping you, right? And maybe there's a policy. So maybe they work for a company and they're like, I just can't lose this job. And if I post, they're going to fire me and it's the whole thing. Yeah. But how do you, like, what's the steps? Like, what's, like, if you're a person, let's just say you're somebody in the business world, and our world's gaming, but in the business world, and your company's okay with it, right? So they're like, look, as long as you don't get on and go, F the company, like, you're probably fine. Like, you know, we trust that you're not going to go do something detrimental, which is kind of the obvious one. What's the first step? Like, how do you decide what your online brand's going to be? Because not everybody can be a thought leader. Right? Because some people might want to be a thought leader, but then people will go, you're just not the thought. You might be the hardest worker in the room, but you're just not the thought leader. Yeah. So how do you decide, like, what your own brand's going to be, or how do you curate that? Like, is it?
That's a good question, because not everybody on LinkedIn is a tenured professional.
For sure.
Like, you've got newcomers.
Might be 25 and 100%.
Newcomers, you've got mid, and then you've got more senior. So yeah, you have to adapt based on that. People go on the internet to be inspired, entertained, or educated. Yep. They don't go on there to be sold to. Sure. Especially on LinkedIn. Nobody wants to be sold to on LinkedIn. That's like, to get pitch slapped in the DMs, the worst.
Pitch slapped. Worst. Is that a phrase?
Yeah.
I never heard that. That's great.
You know when you get a DM?
I get it for sure.
Or when you get a connection and then automatically that DM pops up right away.
You'd be interested in this program. Like, no, I would not.
Have you heard about our software?
Yeah, exactly.
But I think the biggest thing is just to start, and it's really hard because you have a lot of imposter syndrome anyway.
For sure.
And then to have it be like in front of a group of peers and, you know, potential employers, the worst. You don't even have to start posting. I would just start engaging on like everything.
Engaging, so meaning commenting or liking other people's.
You're going to get way more exposure that way than you would just posting your own stuff. That's a very small pool you're really showing, as opposed to commenting.
I'll tell you, even for our show, or having MaxBet's pages for however long, almost 5 years now, like, I know the names of people that engage. All right, if I ever meet you, you're getting a hug, right, or whatever you're comfortable with. Like, there's gonna be some positive vibes with you, right? Or I know the name, and somebody goes, you know, so-and-so, don't know them, love them though. Yeah. Like, they post on our, you know, so they're very positive or they're very out there, right? And so I think that's true. Like, you can build a name. Yeah. Now, granted, I don't know if I'm the one you want to impress, but you built it with me, who's the MaxBet guy, or you see it too now. Or then you go, well, I'm assuming that same thing would be true if you're commenting, like if you want to work at a certain company, you go, well, if I'm going to start engaging with their posts, so then, because of what you notice, for better or for worse, is a lot of the leaders of these companies are shameless promoters of those posts. So they like the post, they share the post. If you start commenting on that, then you go, well, wait a minute, like now they're going to see your name for sure. Yeah. Whether they register it, whether they ever take action, I don't know. But
oh, for sure. What I do is I go to like specific industry leaders. I go to their page. I scroll down and I click comments and I see what they've commented on recently.
Oh man, you could do that.
Oh yeah. Oh, here's the thing. Okay. This is a PSA. Be very careful about what you comment on LinkedIn. Not like we're all, not like there's really anything promiscuous to comment on there, but you can read all of that. So I will go to those pages. Good. Yeah. Unfortunately, I, at one point, had turned off that thing that people can see if you viewed their profile or not. I used to have that off. And then my friend Maria was like, no, you need to turn that on. It's so good. I turned it on. I forgot about it. So I'm going to these, like, same dozen accounts.
They're like, this girl is stalking us.
Regularly. Yeah. For, like, months.
Just nightmare scenario.
And then I was like, oh, no. I was just a frequent flyer on these
Maybe that's flattering. Maybe they're like, hey, we're happy.
I'm not coming for you guys. I'm just going to be very honest. I'm not coming for you. I'm just trying to see who else I can connect with. Yeah. So that was very humbling.
Like, I love it because part of me is like, I wonder if I want that feature on all my other socials. But you always wonder, like, is there somebody creeping on me? I don't feel like I'm creep worthy, but maybe there's people out there going, I just want to look at what this big guy's doing.
Yeah.
Has he updated anything since his fishing trip in the summer? No, he hasn't. All right, well, we're still stuck on the same thing, but like, or not. Like, I don't know. I'd just be interested to know. And you go, hey, bud, like, Landon, why are you looking at my profile every day, pal? Like, you miss me? I miss you too, man. I love you. Like, what are we doing? Or you go, oh, this Hillary chick's crazy. Why is she looking at? I don't even know her. She's looking at my.
I'm
page
not here for you, babe.
Yeah, exactly. I know.
But
that's the funny part. But then, like on LinkedIn, part of me's going, why do I want to know? Like, I don't take action on this. Like a lot of times, you'll get, a recruiter has viewed your profile. Like, I won't even see who it is. I'll say a recruiter from Vegas.
But here's the thing: if you have premium, you can see everyone.
Yeah. Fine. But I also think, like, even knowing that, unless they message me, I'm not going to do anything about that. It's like, great, Hillary, check my profile. So-and-so recruiter checked your profile. Like,
I know people who do that, though. They'll look at who viewed their profile, and then they'll message them like, hey, I saw you view my profile.
Saw you were scoping me out.
I wouldn't do that. That feels uncomfortable to me.
It feels like I see you seeing me. I see you seeing me seeing you now. Like, what? Like, the hell's going on?
Nobody wants to talk about that.
Yeah, it's like, we would all rather you not know. I just looked at your profile. I clicked it by accident. I do that. Oh, that's the worst.
Like, the worst. Or if you search someone, it'll count as
a view.
Yeah. And then it'll show up like, this person searched you. I don't.
Yeah. Next week. Yeah. We actually got some new gear. Might be recording while we're there. Not on the show floor.
No.
But out in some quiet space. We'll find some space and record. So I'm excited to see what that looks like. So I guess anyone listening to this, if you don't see a few podcasts that look like we're in San Diego, we failed. Our gear didn't work. There was some problem, but we are going to test. Yeah. We're going to test our new setup with some new on-the-go podcast content because we think, look, it's great having people here. Love the studio, love it. Yeah. But like sometimes people just aren't always in Vegas, and you get cool people, and they're in San Diego or wherever. So
I guess if anybody wants to talk during IGA, let us know.
Let us know. If you're a little patient, we'll be out there setting it up. But yeah, it'll be good, I think.
If you want to talk a tiny bit of business and mostly bullshit.
If you want to decode your favorite corporate jargon, we're here for it. That's good.
Yes. That is a requirement at this point.
Yeah, that is a requirement. That's a new speed round question, just corporate jargon 101 every time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you got IGA coming up, and then, I don't know, you kind of get into the long, hot summer of really nothing, and then you go to...
In May. It's in Miami this year.
Miami in May. I don't know if I'm invited to that one. We'll see. But
I'm invited.
You'll be there at a minimum.
I'll represent on your behalf. I feel like most people just see you coming down a hallway, and then you'll move to the side, and then they're like, "Oh, Hillary's there."
Which just
you just eclipsed me entirely.
Poor behavior on my part for walking directly in front of you the whole time.
I can't tell you how many people came up to me at Next, and they were like, "You're so much taller than we thought," and I'm like, "Yeah, probably because in all my pictures next to you, I'm like to your shoulders or below."
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Like, it's an interesting point. Like, if you see a photo of two people that you've never met, do you just naturally assume they're about your height?
Yeah.
Everywhere I go, I'm like, oh my God, you're much bigger than I thought. But I'm just so jaded by it. I never thought of like why that must be. And I'm realizing it must be because they just assume we're as tall as they are.
Hopefully they're not like disappointed
like,
saying that to
you
me.
Freak?
Like,
yeah, exactly.
You are way too tall. Wow.
Don't
this is uncomfortable.
Yeah, they didn't say it with like a offended tone, did they?
No, it's more like a surprise.
Jeez. It's like, whoa, you're huge. Yeah. It's like, what? Sorry. It's like, oh no. All right, till next time.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Bye.